But, you know, this is also in many ways a celebration of the life and legacy of Mr. Ratan Tata, the deep impact that he's made, not just on the Tata Group, but on India. You know, I want to take you back in time, Mr. Gopalakrishnan, to the first meeting that you perhaps had with him and the impact he made.
Well, you know, the first time I met him was at Bangalore airport. I used to be the vice chairman of Hindustan Lever at that time, and we were both traveling on the same flight to Bombay. And I introduced myself, we had a chat, and he looked so shy, retiring, and non-communicative that I wondered, frankly, how this kind of personality would work for being the chairman of Tata Sons. Because one is used to business leaders who have zing and were articulate and were forthcoming and outgoing. Then I met him some years later when the possibility of switching to Tatas came up, and I found him to be a very urbane, soft-spoken, thoughtful person. Then, of course, when I started working with him, I found that he was coming out of what might have been his natural propensity to be shy and retiring, because his job now required him to be outward. And he became an excellent communicator. And so I've seen that change happen. And it's the right way. Leaders evolve. Leaders are not created from birth. And it has been a delightful experience to watch him and to learn from him.
You know, you're right in pointing out that there was an evolution of Ratan Tata, the man that we know today and the business leader that he became. But, you know, that's what I want to talk to you about, Mr. Gopalakrishnan. From the time that he came into the Tata Group, we just had Naina Lal Kidwai and many others talking to us about the challenges and the difficulties of being able to pull this diverse group together and steer it forward, and then to go on and change the complexion of it, change the aspiration, make it much more global, make it much more accepting of competition, making it much more inviting for foreign direct investment as well. Let's talk about that evolution and how you saw that transformation take shape.
Well, you know, we are all leaders who are men of the moment. When we are put into a situation, we rise. So it is true that, at least this is before the time I joined Tata, from 1962 when he came back from the US at the request of his grandmother, he had initially a tough time being taken seriously. Because it is not an automatic, although people call Tata a family-managed business, it's not a family-managed business in that sense. In a family-managed business, the next gen gets automatic awqat, you know, to use an Urdu word. But that's not the case in Tata's for sure. And so he went through his own tribulations, which he has described, and I wasn't in the group at that time. And it is true that perhaps in the last few years of JRD, who was a wonderful leader Tata was fortunate to have, but in the last few years, things might have made things a bit centripetal. And I suspect the situation he found himself in 1992 was the same situation Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel found himself in 1947 or 46, when there were so many princely states, everybody wanted to make his own decision where they would go, and he said India must be united. And what I was privileged to observe and in somewhat later years participate in is how he welded and put the whole thing together, which required some very special skills of top leadership of the future. First is the ability to listen. Second is the ability not to go in with a decision in your head, but to evolve a decision out of the discussion. And the third thing is how to manage contradictions and yet move forward. These are such vital needs for the future leaders. And the old image of a leader being, big blue eyes, square jaw, barking out orders is dead. And Ratan Tata is a great example of a person who was the man of the moment. It took him some blood and gore, and that's in the public domain. But he got there. It took him 10 years, 10 years. But he got there. Before he mounted his next wave, to improve the performance of the companies, adopt the Tata brand logo, and that's when I came into the group to assist in all that.
Make informed decisions with comprehensive analysis on the go.
Strengthen your portfolio with real-time market updates on the go. Create effective strategies with insightful expert opinions on the go.
Grow on the go with CNBC-TV18, now streaming live 24/7 on YouTube.